Hello and welcome to the Odd Times. This is issue 6, Cool Things and Recommendations. I'm Clara.
And I'm Tad.
And today we're going to be recommending some cool things that we like and we think each other and you guys will like. None of this is sponsored or anything like that. It's just purely stuff we think is cool and we think you will think is cool. Nobody's paying us. There's no sponsorships, nothing like that.
Not to say we wouldn't be sponsored, but
yeah, send us an email.
We would disclose if we were sponsored.
Mm-hmm. I have 5 things that I want to go over, I guess.
Things you think are cool.
Things I think are cool. So the first one, I've been bullet journaling for a couple of years now. And I started off with like some cheap little ones that had like cardboard looking covers and they weren't anything fancy. And then I found these and they're called Scribbles That Matter. And I have 2 of them because I used all of this one. And they are excellent. If you are looking for a really good bullet journal, I would highly recommend these. It's faux leather, I believe. And they come in a bunch of different colors. And they have
Feels
these
nice.
Little straps. And they have a pin loop. And these ones are dots, as is traditional for a bullet journal. And one of the super cool things about these is they have a belongs to page. They have an index, so you can make a quick, easy reference for all of your stuff that's inside of it. And then one thing that I really liked about them, other than they have a really high quality paper, but also towards the back, they have a pin test area. So you can.
Oh, nice.
So it's like just a little page where you can make sure your pins and things you're using aren't going to bleed through before you write on it, which is I really like. And then it's got a pocket in the back. I put stickers in mine, but it's just on the back cover and it's a little pocket, which is really nice. And then it has 2 like ribbons so you can bookmark and keep track of like your stuff, which I find really handy because I basically use it like a personal calendar. So being able to find what month I'm on really quick is really nice. But they're really high quality and the company is great. Like I ordered the first one and I'd been using it for a long time, so the purple one. And then I went to get another one and I had noticed that the only negative reviews I could really find on them were people saying that the little pin loop comes off. Like, if you put a pin that's too big or something, this will come off. And there were a bunch of people saying that. So I noticed this one is the first one. And when I got this one, they listened to the customers and put a little rivet to help hold the pin loop more really in place. So they really listen to customer feedback. And if you have
that's
any,
awesome.
It's great. They're a great company and they have a bunch of colors. I got the purple and green one, and then I really liked this like teal yellow one. But they're somewhere around $20 on Amazon, and they do have Prime shipping. It fluctuates a little bit, but they're always right around $20. But if you want a really good quality bullet journal, I highly recommend these. And plus the cool colors look really good on your shelf.
Heck yeah. So these are Scribbles That Matter was the brand?
Yeah, they're called Scribbles That Matter, and they have a few different styles. So these are the fancier ones, but they do have a few different kinds that are a little less fancy if you don't want to spend quite as much money. And they do sell out of the colors, so if you see a color you like on there, I would recommend just buying it and don't wait because they'll sell out of it for the season. They remake them every so often, but
I call it notebooking, and I've been trying to do it for a few years now too, and I've not yet found what works best for me.
Yeah, I know I've done a lot of trial and error. Like at first I wanted to do the really elaborate, beautiful calendars that were so in depth. And then I'm like, I really don't need this. So now my calendar, 1 month is 1 page. It's quick and easy and I actually use it. So that's nice.
That is
kind of crucial.
So I have a few different kinds of things. So my next thing is we recently went camping. And I found these instant tents. And I totally thought, okay, these are like
They are amazing.
Gimmicky. But They had a really good sized one. I think they billed it as a 6-person tent for like $150.
Which is like what, 2.5 people normally?
6-person, right?
Yeah, it'll fit like 2 queen size mattresses in it. It really was a really nice size though. And it was only like $150, which I feel like is as much as a regular, not instant tent would be. And I know, like, when we'll go camping, the thing I find the most frustrating about going camping is you get there and you're ready to camp, but it's like, hold on, let me spend half an hour setting up a tent. And then, like, you know, you're ready to go, like, Sunday morning, and then you're like, I want to hang out with you guys, but first I have to pack up this stupid tent for an hour, like, rolling it up and jamming it into this thing before we can go home. And it takes up a lot of time, and it's really annoying. So
Yeah.
I was like, okay, instant tent. Let's see how this goes. And I did not believe when they said, you can set it up in 30 seconds. I'm like, sure you can.
Yeah. Maybe in a lab with like 12 trained personnel.
Right? But no, you totally can.
Really? How does it work? Is it like inflatable or something?
No, so the tent poles are already attached. And there's like a hub in the middle where then the 4 poles come out from the side. And then they go and they're on this hinge. So they're folded like this, and then they snap. Well, my hand can't physically do it. They snap down and fold down to hold the tent up. And then you telescope the poles up to height and click them, and it holds it up. So basically the poles are already attached. You just unfold it, telescope the poles, and it's set up.
Right.
Nice.
It was so easy. And even the rain fly, you just kind of throw over it. It clicks onto the little telescoping bit. And then there's little pull tabs, and you just pull it till it's as tight as you want it, and done.
Yep.
Wow. And how easy is it to pack up?
Just as easy.
Yep.
Wow.
It was so it was great. It was the fastest part of getting set up and torn down from the camp out. It was amazing. I'll put
So when it's folded, how big is it and how much does it weigh? Would you recommend this for like backpacking or just for tent camping?
Not for backpacking, just because
it's a little large.
It is really light, but it's long. So it's
bulky.
like, it reminds me of camp chairs. You know how they fold up long and skinny?
Mm-hmm.
It's like that if that were a tent.
Yeah, it's probably about 4 feet long, I think.
Oh.
The
Maybe.
telescoping portions
Maybe a
from
yard.
the legs are obviously retracted at that point, but you still have whole architecture that'll
Connect into you. But it's really surprisingly light. We have another tent that we've been using for a long time that's a pain in the butt to put up. And it probably weighs 5 times what this one does.
Yeah.
Wow.
This one is not at all heavy.
Made it maybe too awkward for backpacking, but it's good for like walking, camping, and stuff.
Yeah, and the bag has a really it has really long straps, so you can throw it over your shoulder or probably even wear it like a backpack.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
I wouldn't recommend it for backpacking just because it's so long. It's going to be awkward. But if you're like camping somewhere you could park, or even that's not very far, I would recommend it. And the brand is called Core, so Core. I'll put a link to all of these things in the description. But it was amazing.
Yeah, basically when we packed it up, I think we just ended up getting it untelescoped into its hub and then wrapping the excess material actually around. And then that just as a back into the bag.
And it wasn't and it wasn't tight. Like, some tents you have to like stuff into the bag.
Yeah.
You don't at all. They obviously like paid attention to that. You don't have to stuff it at all. There's even like extra room in case you want to throw something else in there.
Nice.
I think it took longer to roll up the sleeping bags than it did to put the tent away.
That's crazy.
Amazing. And yeah, not that expensive. A friend we were camping with was like asking us how much the tent was, and I was like, about $150. And he's like, well, that upsets me because my tiny tent was like, what, $200 or more than that. Like,
he actually got a backpack.
He had a backpack
tent, though.
tent.
Oh, okay.
He went to REI and they,
Yeah.
kitted him out with a top tier.
But it was but it was not
I think my
Very strange.
current tent was like $15 because it's like a 1-person tent, which means I have to curl up into a fetal position to sleep in it.
right.
But it weighs like half a pound and it folds up like 2 feet long and this big around, so I could take it anywhere.
Yeah.
And it
Nice.
also goes up in 30 seconds because it's only got the 2 tubes.
Nice.
Oh, right.
I mean, it's not engineered to go up in 2 seconds. It's just so small.
Yeah.
It just physically couldn't take any longer.
I camped with a bunch of people at one point and no one could find my tent. Everybody's like, where'd you put your tent? I'm like, right over there. They're like, I don't see a tent. I'm like, it's just small. You have to go closer.
It's just under that pile of leaves, okay?
Just take like leaf stuff and
Right? Yeah, camouflage.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean,
Bigger tents have always been such a nightmare to find ones that are easy to put up and take down. This one sounds pretty amazing.
yeah.
it was great, and the size was great. Like, we were able to have a full-size mattress and a 36-inch metal dog crate, both in the tent without them having to touch the walls. We had plenty of
Wow.
room. It was great, and it wasn't too big, but the size it was really nice. It was a 6-person tent, and it was cool because it comes with this easy like thing that basically hooks onto the back wall. That's just this big item organizer. So it's just like this
that's
mesh.
awesome.
Yeah, it's just this really like light mesh pocket thing. So you can put like all your pocket stuff in it, and then there's a little tiny mesh hammock that connects up to the top, so you can put a light in it. Great.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Great. Whoever designed that designed it for convenience and ease, and it was amazing. But if you like camping and you want to make it a lot easier on yourself, I would recommend these Core Instant Tents, like 100%. They're pretty great.
Yeah. Actually,
Right?
definitely.
So easy. I was like, my motto for the weekend is, how easy can this be? Like,
It worked out to
I
be
didn't-
very easy.
Excellent.
it was
Yeah.
really nice. The third thing is actually a website. They largely sell t-shirts and some accessories and stuff. It's actually where I got this shirt.
Awesome.
It says
And what does that say?
It says drink tea, read books, and then the bottom says be happy. Wait.
Excellent. Well, it's hard not to be happy if you're drinking tea and reading books.
Right?
Seriously.
And the shirt's really comfortable.
Oh, good.
Like, the material's not overly thin, and it's not overly tight or crappily made. And the website is super cool. Like, if you like weird shirts,
Who doesn't like weird shirts?
they have a bunch.
Right?
They have a bunch that I was looking at that I started sending to people. You can find, I'm not sure who the artist is, but they have a bunch of shirts that are like the tarot with spacemen, like astronauts and stuff. Like, let me see if I can find one. They have one that's, I think, the strength card, and it's like an astronaut riding a T-Rex, like, in
You
space.
get more badass than that.
It was so cool. And there was a couple like that. They had one that was based on the Lovers card, but it was like here it is. But it was like 2 astronauts like in space.
Were they in the 2 suit?
They were not. No.
Oh.
Yeah.
Can't say.
In love but forever apart.
Right, yeah.
That's right.
There's probably a spaceship around. I don't know. But there's a whole bunch of different kinds of stuff. They have things that are like meme related, tarot related. It might have just been because it was Pride Month, but they had a lot of LGBTQ plus stuff. They have this one that I thought Nick would like. It's like a Dark Souls related thing that has like the fire with the sword in it, and it says it's lit.
That could be a flag outside home.
But their stuff's really good, and they're pretty reasonable. I want to say this shirt was like $16, which is about what you pay for a graphic tee anywhere.
Yeah.
And they have sales all the time. Like right now, they have like a 25% off sale. But yeah, if you like cool, kitschy, like interesting / funny shirts, it's called lookhuman.com, and I'll put a link to that too. But I found them I found them recently, and I keep just kind of going to look at their cool things. Like, what shirts do I want from here? So that one really you kind of just have to look on your own, but it's really cool. The other one is okay. So the next thing is also a website, and I was showing Nick this the other day. It's called Cameo.com, and it's this website you go on, and they have lists of celebrities, and it's basically people who have signed up, and they each have their own fee. So you pay whatever fee they're asking, and that person will send you a personalized message, and you can ask like, "Hey, tell me happy birthday," or "Tell my friend happy birthday," or etc. But so, like, for example, for $150, Gilbert Godfrey will send you a personalized message.
Or you could send a personalized message from Gilbert Godfrey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So,
Absolutely.
I mean, how would you like to be walking around one day and your phone dings and it's a text from your favorite celebrity?
right?
Or
And
just Gilbert Godfrey.
Right.
Jess
I
Gilbert.
mean, I was going to say, I get emails from Misha all the time. Misha Collins from Supernatural.
there
Oh,
you
from
go.
the...
But he writes them like they're personalized. Like, he'll actually have like, we haven't heard from you this year and we're really worried.
Oh,
He's so funny.
Because he runs Gishwas, which is an
Yes.
online scavenger hunt.
Yeah. He's pretty great. I don't know that he's on here. And don't get me wrong, you're probably not going to find like a million A-list celebrities on here or anything.
Not
But
yet.
but
Depends
some...
on how popular it gets.
but Chum Lee.
But Sean Astin is on here. Or
What?
Austin.
Okay, he's A-list.
It's Aston.
Astin, yeah.
That's Aston.
Yeah. And for it's $250. But for $250, you can be like, hey, send me a message. Tell me I'm cool. And he will.
That's right.
Then his picture like this.
He is, yeah.
Big.
But yeah,
Corey Feldman.
Corey Feldman. There's Ernie Hudson
But
from
does it really count if
Ghostbusters.
you don't get a text from both Corys?
You can't.
I mean, it's $202, so it better count. But
Chris
yeah,
Hansen.
yeah, there's a bunch of football players I don't really follow, but there's a lot of sports people. But like Bam Margera, for $350, you can get a personal message from Ice-T.
Ooh.
So there's it's not like the most name-listy of a listy of celebrities largely.
Indeed.
But there's lots of cool ones. I actually found out about it because some of the drag queens that I follow on Instagram do it.
Oh, okay.
So you can, but it's really cool. And there's a lot of so you can get a message from Shangela. If anyone knows who drag queens are, you'll know who Shangela is, but she's pretty great. But everyone sets their own price. So some people are $10, some are a couple hundred. But you can go on their pages and see examples of
Oh, okay.
things they've done for other people, so you can decide if it's kind of worth the money and stuff like that.
Right.
But it's pretty cool. Like you
That's
can,
pretty fun.
yeah. I'm like, how fun would that be? If you know someone who likes a certain actor or football player, and there's on there, you can be like, hey, tell my buddy happy birthday, and they'll be like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty cool. They have some interesting people too. Like if you like Red Dead Redemption, they have the guy that does the voice of Arthur Morgan. So that's pretty cool.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah. But so
Out of there.
If you got rich and famous and we're going to be on the site, how much would you charge for a tweet or a text?
I don't think in good conscience I could charge like that much. Like I feel like $200 for like a 10-second video of you being like, hey, happy birthday is kind of,
That's a lot to ask.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
Very
I
mean,
mean,
high
honestly, I'll
hourly
bet you the more popular celebrities set their prices higher, not just because they can, but just to reduce volume.
Yeah.
yeah.
Because, yes,
That would make-
one 30-second text or video or something is fine, but if you, let's face it, if you're whoever's really famous right now, I am not a trendsetter, then they would get like 5,000 a day.
No, it's true. Yeah. Which I kind of wonder isn't why you don't have more super high, fame celebrities on here. But yeah.
Right.
Gary
Oh, it's
Busey.
that guy. Oh God, yeah, Gary Busey. Weird.
Hey, it's Todd from
From
Scrubs.
Yeah.
Are there any writers, authors on there? That sort of thing?
That's a good question. They have a bunch of different categories. Come on. Don't fail me
What is the
now.
name of this site, by the way?
Cameo.com.
Okay.
They have comedians, voice actors, Twilight,
Sean Patrick Flam.
drag queens,
Wasn't he a
riot
Boondock
wrestlers.
Saint?
They have media.
Possibly.
Let me see.
don't remember.
Oh, authors. Here we go.
Nice.
Ron Jeremy is under authors. That's interesting.
That is interesting.
All these people seem to be authors
John
and
Bastow, the
and
guy
something
from those
else.
fitness things. And remember, he had, I think, videos or something.
Oh God.
But it's pretty fun to just go on and see who's on here and for how much, because John Patrick Flannery. It's a fabulous picture.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I ran across that and I'm like, if nothing else, it's really fun to look and see who's on there. And
Yeah. And, most of us, when we're really, really honest about it, our favorite celebrities aren't necessarily the big box office names anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
Is Bruce Campbell on?
Oh, I really doubt it. No.
Oh, well.
No.
That would be an amazing side hustle for him. He's probably one of the ones, like, 5,000 a day.
Right. But there's a couple people on there that I was like, whoa, that's pretty cool. Ernie Hudson
That would be pretty cool.
Ernie Hudson was pretty cool. I was like,
Yeah.
that'd be pretty awesome. Oh,
Have him call someone up. Da-na-na.
and
It looks like if you put in a name they don't have, they have a thing you can click on to request them, which kind of cracks me up and makes me wonder what they send the celebrity.
yeah, I guess when
Seriously.
you order it, you put a little note, like what you want them to say or whatever. They don't have to do it necessarily, because if you ask them for something crazy, I'm sure they can be like, no.
Right. I'm sure they say no.
But I'm sure, if you was like Ernie Hudson, you could be like, could you say hi to me and maybe say something Ghostbustery? I doubt he'd be like, no, because it's $135, so.
Right.
But yeah, I just thought that website looked really fun, and I'll put a link in the description to that too. But it's just fun to look through and see who you recognize, and if you or someone you know really likes a particular celebrity and they happen to be on there, that's a pretty cool birthday gift or anniversary gift. Be like, Ernie Hudson's wishing you a happy birthday. Like,
I'm loving scrolling through it and looking at all their headshots, because their headshots are just kind of ridiculous. Like, there's no way to do them well.
Right.
And I like how some of them are just regular pictures and some of them are all dramatic.
The glamour shots are
They have
100%
Dominic Monaghan.
awkward.
That's the one I was trying to think of.
They have what?
Mhm. Dominic Monaghan. He was...
Yeah. Pippin?
No.
Or Mary?
I think he was Mary.
That's the one. Yeah, that's what I was trying to think of.
And he's done quite a bit since Lord of the Rings. I wish I knew what the actor who played Pippin was doing, because I really liked his performance in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, me too.
He was
And I haven't
really
seen him
good.
since.
Yeah, me neither. Maybe he's, I don't know. I was going to say maybe he's not
doing
acting.
something
but-
else.
Yeah.
I feel like I might have seen something, but no.
He's not on Cameo, so. But yeah, so my last thing is this book.
Okay.
It's called Happy by
Okay.
Daren Brown. It's called Happy, Why More or Less Everything is Absolutely Fine. And my sister recommended this book to me, and I'm sure people are really, really tired of hearing me talk about it, because almost everyone who will listen, I am like, oh my God, read this book. And the audiobook is narrated by Darren Brown.
Oh, nice.
Which is cool. And people may know him. He's a British magician.
Really?
He does a lot of specials that are like, I wish I could remember what some of them are called now. But they're big, elaborate, like, illusion thing. He does one where he convinces a guy that the zombie apocalypse has happened. No.
Something.
Not Mind Brain.
Mind Brain.
Mind Control. How did I not?
Oh, yeah.
that?
Mind Control. But he's
Apparently you did not have enough mind control to remember that.
Perhaps not.
But he's an English mentalist and illusionist, and he has a few other books, I think, about illusions and stuff too. But so if you're familiar with, if the name sounds familiar, that's why. It's the magician. And my sister recommended this book to me, and I actually got the audiobook and listened to that, and I liked it so much that not only am I listening to the audiobook a second time, but I bought the physical book.
Wow.
so that I could reference things. And I didn't know that it had some pictures in it. So that was a nice surprise. But I don't think it's overselling it to say that this book is like life-changing. Like it's pretty amazing, especially if you're, I don't know, I've always been a little bit introverted, and philosophy and stuff really appeals to me. And in this, he talks a lot about different stoic philosophies and how we can apply them to our lives to live more happy and contented lives in general. But it's not like a self-help book. It's just a different way of thinking about things. A lot of books that tell you how to be happy, it'll talk about, you know, have a 5-year goal, or think positive, or you have to plan it to do it, and that kind of thing. And he talks about those kinds of things in here. Like he talks about how there's a real danger with the whole power of positive thinking, because a lot of things that tell people you just have to think positively enough, you just have to want it enough. Well,
like The Secret.
Yes, he talks about that thoroughly in here, and how
as a small aside with the power of positive thinking, I had an odd experience with that. So that was originally a book by, I forget his name.
Yeah.
And I never read it, but like 10, 15 years later, he came out with a second book called The Positive Principle. And in that, and I read that one first. I read it when I was like 19, and it was pretty life-changing for me too. And in that, he's pretty explicit about like everyone's doing positive thinking wrong. Like, it's not about ignoring the bad things or minimizing the bad things or pretending that everything's Pollyanna or faking yourself out. It's literally just looking at reality and choosing to focus on the parts that make you better.
Right.
Like, which is happiness, but also if anger is what fires you up to do the next big project, but you get to choose the lens that you look at things through.
In the book, he talks about The Secret, in that there's nothing wrong with, he talks about how there's nothing wrong with positive thinking. Obviously, if you're thinking positive, that motivates you and can push you, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it's when you think that positive thinking is how you're going to manifest the things you want in your life, and that's the only way you can find happiness, because then when inevitably the universe doesn't give you everything you want, it's your fault. You weren't positive enough. You didn't want it enough. And that's not how things
very
work.
Much emphasizes it's your fault too.
Yes, and he talks about that and really kind of
and the fault of people around you, because if you look at fat people, it's going to make you fat.
Yeah. If they're
so
negative,
by walking around in the world, I am literally causing harm to other people because they have to look at me.
Apparently, yeah. He.
How dare you?
I know, right?
Yeah, he very much kind of talks about how that's harmful, and how positive thinking can be used in a positive way that's not as harmful. He talks a lot about faith healing when he goes into that. I guess he did a special about faith healing, and he talks a lot about that's the power of positive thinking is similar to faith healers. You'll go and you'll get this experience, and maybe they'll convince you, and maybe you'll feel better. But then when your cancer inevitably hasn't gone away, and you contact the faith healer, they don't want anything to do with you because they have your money.
Right.
And it was all a scam.
I will point out that has absolutely nothing to do with the original theory of positive thinking.
The
original theory of positive thinking is, oh shit, I have cancer. In good news, we found it early. Maybe I should go to the doctor and do a more aggressive treatment plan.
Right.
Rather than, oh shit, I have cancer, I'm going to die. There's no point in me even trying.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, that's the difference between positive thinking and not positive thinking.
Yeah. Yeah, he definitely goes into a lot of specifics.
But I think the book, The Power of Positive Thinking, was misread widely by all of society. And I think there's a lot to counter in how we talk about it.
Yes, I agree. And I think when you say the power of positive thinking nowadays, it's become something different. And you have to be positive all the time. I think we were talking about it the other day, that part of the book he goes into death and dying. And he talks about we're so focused on be positive that we don't often allow people to have their real emotions. Like if someone has cancer or is grieving the loss of a loved one, we tell them, don't worry, it'll get better. You just have to choose happiness. You have to fight and be brave. And it doesn't let people have room to have their emotions, and it's okay. It's okay.
And it's also,
you know,
it's really easy to minimize other people's burdens and to say, well, if you're not being positive about this, then you're just not trying hard enough.
Yes.
Rather than, I am doing my best and this is more than anyone could bear.
Yeah.
Because positive thinking doesn't fix anything concrete. Like,
no.
If something truly horrible is happening to you, it doesn't matter how you choose to think about it. That doesn't change.
Yeah, and it's okay.
And we need room for that.
Yes. And it just because it's uncomfortable, you know, to be around someone who's grieving or facing their own mortality doesn't mean you should minimize it and tell them to just be happy. Like, just because a happy cancer patient is less awkward for the people around them doesn't mean that it's good for that person, and doesn't mean that we should force them to do that.
On the other hand, yeah, even like the people who are sick, a lot of them will appreciate that. Like, put up a false front, you know, powering through it, whatever it is.
And the thing is,
so it's strange.
And in a book or a movie, if someone suffers in silence, they always find out later. The other characters are always like, oh my gosh, I can't believe he dealt with this his whole life, or whatever that was. But in reality, they don't find out later, and they don't give a shit. And the only way to get help with real things is to ask for help.
Yeah.
With real things.
Exactly. And sometimes to do that, you have to admit to yourself and to others that you're not just happy all the time.
Exactly.
And
sometimes it's okay for things to not be okay for a while.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, very much so. And so, yeah, he goes over some of that stuff in the book, and then also some things about stoic philosophy and stoic thinking, which is a lot different than a lot of people, I think, believe it is. Like, people hear stoic and they think, oh, reserved, cold, unfeeling. But that's not what it is. He actually goes into how a lot of stoic philosophy involves actually, like, almost imagining what if you lost the people and the things that mean the most to you so you can appreciate them more. It's coming to terms with the short, finite reality of your relationships and the things that you have in your life so that you feel them deeper. It's not about not feeling them. It's
the opposite.
Being grateful for the things that you have and framing them appropriately. He talks about some other philosophers and this idea that there's a line, and on one side of the line is the things you can control, and the other side is the things you cannot. And the only things on the side that you can control are your thoughts and your actions. And so focus on that, because you can't control how other people react to you. You can't really control what other people do. You can influence it, sure, but really just focus on you and what you're doing. And, you know, when it comes down to it, like, you can go in for a job interview, but you can't control what the other person does. So all you can do is the best you can do.
Right.
And then let it go. Why worry about it? You can't control it beyond that. And that's a very simplified version. It's a fabulous book. I highly recommend it. And it's not your usual self-help book, but if you really want to get a different perspective on things and have some he's really funny and he's very thoughtful, and it was very surprising. Like, he has anecdotes and talks about philosophers from, like, Rome, like, Epictetus and
what year was it published?
Marcus Aurelius and that kind of thing. Let me look, since I bought the physical copy. 2016 is the copyright date. Also, I thought it was really cool. I didn't realize till I got the physical book that the publishing house is, can't really see it, Corgi. The publishing house is Corgi. So I was like,
Nice.
But it's great. It's old timey philosophy and new ways to apply it, and
sweet. I'll have to look for that one.
Great. I 100% recommend it. It's I'll put a link to it on Amazon. I don't remember how much it was, but under $20. And the audiobook is available on Audible. He reads it, and he is a delightful narrator. Like, it's pretty great.
Awesome.
And I really, really recommend the book, and want my friends to all read it so that we can talk about it.
Yes.
Fine. I'll do it.
You should.
I will.
If I can find it in the library, I will.
Nice.
I hope you can, because It's about living a considered life. He talks about the stories we tell ourselves about things and how we often inherit those stories from our parents or a lot of times when we're young. But we'll get this story in our mind like, oh, I'm terrible at this. Oh, I'm too shy. And we live that. But he says people can act out of character. And if you don't like the story that you're writing for yourself, change it. And there's nothing.
I like that.
And I thought, if nothing else, that was very powerful. But yeah. So those are my cool things.
Awesome. Those are pretty cool.
Thanks. They're very random. Very varied.